What's going on, everybody? Camera 2, this is Camera 2. I think I've got Camera 2 finally working. Don't worry, I'm not doing the whole show like this, but I've got Camera 2 over here, Camera 1 in front of me here. I'm working on a new setup for the new year because I got some interesting things happening in the new year. Check out this holiday beard I've got going on. Can you say that Dave McRae needs a shave? I think I do. I think I need a shave. But yes, this is, of course, where normally I will be talking to you guys is straight on here, but I definitely need a shave. That's for damn sure. That is for damn sure. Hey, this is Saturday Movie Night. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. If you are tuning in after the fact, then I really appreciate it. This is a Patreon exclusive for levels number 2 and 3. The description about how all that works is down below. Yeah, level number 2 and 3. And then after the live feed is done, it goes right up onto my channel for everybody to watch. And this week's movie is Christine, John Carpenter's Christine from 1983. And I'll let you know when I'm about to hit play on the movie and where everything is. And if you want to watch along with me, you are more than entitled to do so. And what else was I going to say? I was going to say something else. Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, I've got 2 cameras now. I might be popping in a third one as well because I might have something new coming up in the new year to make things just a little more visually interesting for you guys. And of course, I actually it is actually going to serve a purpose. Not just another beautiful angle of yours truly. But nonetheless, I might have to throw it over to that camera for specific reasons in the very near future. So, nonetheless, here we go. Who do we got? Frank Riker's in the house. Rick Michaels is here. David is here. Jason Nike is here. Johan Hastbaka is here. Awesome stuff. Are you guys ready for Christine from 1983? Dave in VR. That's right. That's right. Yeah, here's camera 2. Camera 2. There you go. Camera number 2. Camera number 1. Camera number 1. Camera number 2. Camera number 1. So, yes, Dave's in 3D soon. That's right. Glasses less 3D. Glasses less 3D. But yeah, no, it's yeah, you'll see how it all works in the near future. But nonetheless, okay, so let's start this. I'm ready to roll. Where is Christine here? There she is. All right, so if you guys are ready, I'm ready. Let me just see where... Okay, so on the screen right now, I have the old... It's paused, but I have the old school Columbia Pictures... I think that's Columbia, right? Hang on, let me just scroll here. Is it Hollywood or Columbia? That is... Why am I not seeing that? It is Columbia, that's right. Columbia, that's what I thought. So I have the old school... I've paused it. And right now I have the old school Columbia Pictures on the screen. So it's got the woman there like this, says Columbia Pictures, and it's paused. All right, so we are ready to go. Here we go. 1983's John Carpenter's Christine, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and play. All right. It is playing, and still got it up there. And now the Columbia Pictures has faded out. Columbia Pictures presents. And this is, yeah. right. It's got the logo on there. That's awesome. Where are we here? We are, yeah, okay. Make sure we're in the right spot. Okay, cool. Yes, John Carpenter's Christine. Everybody's ready? Rock on, rock on. You know what's funny? I think I accidentally, because when I was downloading this from iTunes to watch with you guys, I think I accidentally. That's okay though, because I know the movie fairly well, and of course it's all about what we're seeing and all that kind of jazz, and I don't necessarily need to understand what people are saying, although I think that would help. I think I accidentally downloaded the French version, which is funny because all the credits here are in French. Or maybe it's Spanish. Maybe it's Spanish. No, de la photography. No, yeah, de la romanda de Viking. Yeah, that's French for sure. So I accidentally downloaded the French version. That's all right. I'm cool. That's where I am. Or maybe it's subtitled. Maybe it's not dubbed. Maybe it's subtitled. And therefore, if it's not dubbed, I can still hear them talking in English. Even though I'm Canadian, folks, I can't speak a word of fucking French. French is one of my worst subjects in school. Detroit, 1957. Yes, in this movie, they actually, I believe they only made, it's the Plymouth Fury, right? Which is the car. I believe they only made, I think like 1957, and I believe they only made about 3,000 of these cars. So when John Carpenter was looking to actually get this specific car for this movie, he had a difficult time doing it. And I stand to be corrected, but I don't believe the car used, even though it's supposed to be, I don't believe it is a Fury. I think it's something else. Am I right on that? It's another car that's nearly identical, but nonetheless, pretty cool stuff. I can't speak any French either, Dave. Yes, Jason Knight, the fellow Canadian in the house, can't speak any French either. Yeah, I was terrible in French. Terrible. So where am I here? I'm 3 minutes into the movie now after hitting play in the garage there in Detroit, 1957. They're assembling all these cars. And of course, in the Stephen King novel, I stand to be corrected again, but I believe in the novel, the guy just got his hand smashed with it. That's awesome. I believe the car was possessed by its last owner, if I'm not mistaken, right? And which is actually kind of cool. I actually like that angle. But in the movie, it's a car that basically was possessed from its inception, from right from the shop here. But then that makes you wonder, and again, I haven't seen this movie in a little bit, but it makes you wonder, what was somebody who was building the car? Did somebody cast a curse on it or something? Like, even shit we're not aware of. Like, what do you guys think? Like, is it explained in the movie how that happens? I can't remember. I don't think it is explained in the movie. Again, I know in the book, the car is possessed by its previous owner, who's now dead, I think. In the movie, it's like just a possessed car. That maybe that mystery, maybe it's a bit ambiguous of how all that comes to be, but nonetheless, pretty cool indeed. What do we got? Frank Riker, yeah, just listen to those gas emissions. Yeah, I got it on Blu-ray. Awesome. Yeah, I actually don't have it on Blu-ray. I have it on DVD, but I decided to download it here. Oh, let me just see if they're speaking English. I don't know if they are. Oh, I can't hear them. I mean, they're not talking yet. But yeah, so, yeah, it was what was it? It wasn't a Plymouth Fury. It was, am I saying that right? Plymouth? I think that's right. I made notes here on my phone. Yeah, the Belvedere and the Savoy were used to portray the automobile on screen. That's a very Carpenter-esque shot with the car coming towards the screen. Is that a Charger? Looks like a Charger, old school Charger. I think it is. I drive a Challenger, for those of you guys that don't know. Sometimes people get the old school Challengers and Chargers mixed up. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so there's no subtitles. Everything's in English, which is great. Why the fuck were the credits in French then? That was weird. That was really weird. Okay. Well, that's good. I can at least hear it. And you guys can't like hear the I don't think you can. Yeah, you guys can't hear what I'm listening to. I don't think. Anyway, the Charger is awesome. Yeah, the Chargers are awesome. Yeah, I'm a Challenger guy myself, but definitely. I mean, I like the Chargers. When I was in Hollywood, I rented a Mustang convertible. That was a lot of fun to drive. Look how nerdy this guy is. Like these two, I have a hard time believing these. Well, then again, these two guys have known each other for a long time. If these two guys are main characters here, if these two guys had just met, there's no way they'd be hanging out. The only reason why this jock hangs out with this nerd is because they've known each other for a long time. Really, at the end of the day. I mean, that is why, right? They've known each other for years. He's his friend. It's just they were probably equal at one point, and then naturally through growing up, you know, one was always going to be a bit nerdier than the other, and one was going to go to be a bit cooler than the other. But, you know, he's that friend from childhood. You know, you love him, right? You got, you know, you kind of feel for him. You kind of protect him, you know, a little bit of a little brother, sort of big brother kind of vibe going on, you know? But if these guys had met actually, like, in high school, there's no way they'd be friends. No way. Excuse me. The chat room is quiet. You guys are quiet. That's okay, though. Maybe you're, like, really locked in right into the movie. Hey, when you guys were in school, did you guys bring your lunch in a brown paper bag? I remember when I did, I didn't usually, but when I did, I felt like I was in a movie. You know, like I was like, oh, I'm in a movie, you know? Like I was, yeah, I got a brown paper bag for lunch. It felt great. Frank Reiger says, my dad had a 69 Roadrunner. Oh, that's really cool. That's really cool. My father was late to the party in getting his first car. He was 28, I think, when he got his license. He was 28 years old. My dad took the bus everywhere, walked and took the bus everywhere. And then when he had a family of his own, obviously it got a little more tricky, right? Of course, then again, he was married when he was like 22. So I guess for the first number of years there, I guess they just walked everywhere and took the bus. That would have been back in the 60s. So, but, you know. Thundercats plastic box. Yeah, I didn't have a Thundercats one. I had a He-Man one. Definitely had a He-Man one. And I had another one, too, that wasn't He-Man, but I can't remember for the life of me what it was. You know, the ones that, you know, you open it up, there's the thermos, you know. I believe the producer, or one of the producers that worked on this film, also worked with John Carpenter on Someone's Watching Me, the 1978 TV movie that he did, which we did a commentary on just last week. For those of you that are watching after the fact that may not be aware of that, that's up on my channel now. A smart car for the remake. Yeah. I suspect if they were to remake this movie, obviously they're going to bring it into modern times, and they're probably going to. I'm actually surprised it hasn't happened already because of the popularity of Transformers and the Fast and Furious franchise. You know, cars are always they're always fun and exciting, especially to car enthusiasts. They've never, they never really gone away in that regard, but especially because of the way that the Fast and Furious especially has penetrated the pop culture consciousness in terms of everybody loves that action and fast cars and stuff. I'm surprised they haven't already remade Christine, because if they do, when they do, because I have a feeling they will, they'll modernize it, which I understand. It'll be a car that's, it'll be a real fast, muscle car or sports car or something like that. That's modern, I think. Now, here's the perfect example of what I'm talking about, right? Dude walks in, starts talking to the John Travolta wannabe. But see, he's got that bigger brother sort of protection kind of thing, right? Which really does exist. I mean, I can't say that I've ever been in that position where I have felt like I needed to protect somebody, but I certainly have noticed it in the different social sort of, the different hierarchies when it comes to the social dynamics of high school and stuff. It's interesting. Look at this fucking guy's hair. That's insane. And I love his transformation, how he becomes essentially Dennis and Arnold. Just want to confirm their names. For some reason I wanted to say David and Arnold. It's Dennis and Arnold. I knew it was Arnold, but David gets tossed to the ground. Arnold just slips. You see, and it's so classic, right? You have David getting tossed to the ground because he's the cooler guy, but you have Arnold slipping in his own lunch and going to the ground. So the two of them both go to the ground, but that's actually it's still very true to their characters, right? David gets tossed and Arnold slips in his own lunch. Like it's just funny. And real true to the characters. Because you could have thrown Arnold to the ground as well. But, didn't do that. Rick Michaels says, I like this guy in Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield. Yes. He was in Back to School. I haven't seen that one in a long time. Did you guys ever see the Ladybugs movie with Rodney Dangerfield and what's his face? Who sadly committed suicide in the early 2000s. I thought that was a funny movie too. Rick Michael says, looks too old. The guy with the sideburns. Oh, he looks ancient. They all don't look like they're in high school. They look like this is college. I love this guy who's. It's such a it's a muscular, more buff John Travolta. That's what it is. He was in Jaws 2. Who was in Jaws 2? Why am I blanking? I know Jaws 2 really well. Oh, are you talking about the Frank? Tell me who you're talking about because I think I might know. Are you? Oh no, you're talking about the yeah. Fuck, that was him, wasn't it? Shit. I didn't even why am I not I'm not recognizing him. Shit. Arnold. Yes, you're right. He was with Tina in the boat. No. No. What? No, he wasn't. I'm thinking of something else. Why am I blanking on this? This is. I'm having a massive brain fart. But you're right. Was he with Tina? No, he wasn't the Tina one. No, he wasn't. No, because now I'm picturing the guy that was. Yeah, I know who you're talking about, Frank. I do. Yep. I mean, in terms of, you're right. He was in it. Damn, I forgot about that. Because you're bang on. Yeah, no, he wasn't the guy with Tina. I can see the guy with Tina now. He made it to the end, though. He wasn't killed. The guy that was with Tina was eaten by the shark. It's Tina was the name, right? I think, of the girl that was in the boat there with that guy that got eaten by the shark. He wasn't eaten by the shark, I don't think. This is where, now I'm at the scene now. Where am I here? I am 15 minutes and 50 seconds into the movie. They're backing up. This is when they see, obviously, we'll call her Christine. We'll call her Christine right now. Because obviously that's, that's the name. So we're backing up. They see Christine, all old and worn. And this is where the Home Alone guy, Tina, thank you, Jason. That's what I thought it was. This is where the old guy from Home Alone comes out. Remember the old guy from Home Alone? He's the old guy here. I'm pretty sure he is anyway. Frank Riker says, Michael Myers was born the same year Christine was built. 57, that's right. For a minute I was like 83. Oh, right, when the car was built. Yes, that's right. That's right. Very, very true. Jason Dyke says, Tina is a very popular horror name. Yes. Well, it was also a popular Tina, Lisa, Allison, Jennifer, Jen. Those were really popular names when we were growing up. When I think of my elementary school, Melanie, Melissa, Tina, Jennifer, Lisa, Allison, those were like, you don't hear those. Parents aren't even naming their kids those names anymore. David has gone the way of like Earl practically, it's like, what the hell? All right. But guys' names back when we were kids, Dave, Jason, Michael, Steven, Brian. A lot of biblical names in there. Yeah. There he is. The old guy. God, he looks ancient here. He looked ancient in Home Alone, and he looks ancient here. Mind you, Home Alone is only 7 years after this movie, so that's not... He's probably I would say he's in his 50s here. Now, he looks more stragglier, a little more rough. Well, maybe not. He could be in his 60s. He's not any older than that, though. I'd be stunned if he was older than that. I'm just looking at his skin and his neck. I'm thinking 50s, maybe. No Franks. Frank Riker says no Franks. Yeah, Frank wasn't hugely popular. I don't know if I knew a Frank, but definitely like your Davids, your Jasons, your Michaels, your Stevens, But nowadays, it's more, parents are naming their kids like Colson and Jaden and, I don't know. Ryan was another big one from when we were growing up. Ryan. Yeah. Justin. Josh. Josh was a big one. Obviously, I'm just at the scene now where they're wheeling and dealing with Mr. Home Alone. I love how his teeth are all fucked up. That's great. Rick Michael says, I love the tape on his glasses. Looks really neat. Yeah, no, exactly. Like, he actually tapes his, it's such a stereotype. It's a good thing you brought that up, Rick, because I was actually going to mention that, and then I got sidetracked with something else. That's actually a really good point. It plays into the stereotype so much. Although this is to be taken as a serious horror flick, they really play into the stereotypes. And yeah, taping your glasses with white tape right in the middle just seems so like, wouldn't you be objectively aware that you are doing like that? You're playing into this. Like, I would never do that. If I broke of course, it's a different time, right? But even if I wouldn't put white tape here are you kidding me? It's like a gag almost. It's hilarious. Jason Knight says, my kids are Elijah, Tyson, and Colton. Oh, I was close. I said Colson, Colton. But there you go, right? Elijah is not a word you heard way back then. Colton, certainly not. Tyson, maybe a little bit, but not a lot. Except for uncles, like Uncle Frank. Uncle Frank. Frank says, I love that new car smell, too. Yeah, I like the new car smell. I picked up my Challenger earlier this year. I switched from my other car, and it doesn't. I guess it still has its new car smell a little bit. But like if you were to get in it, you may smell it because you have not been in it. When I get in the car now, I don't really smell it. Because I guess I've had it since April. So I love the way he's playing into this. Yeah, that's just the way it is. Now this woman playing his mother looks very familiar to me too. Like maybe I've seen her on, I don't know, Three's Company or a sitcom or something. She looks very familiar to me. The dad just looks like a typical dad. What are you talking about? You wanted me in college courses? I'm there. Oh, is this college? Are they in college or is this high school? I thought it was high school. But is this college? If it's college, I stand to be corrected. I thought it was high school. If it's high school though, right? You can tell it's been a little bit since I've watched this movie from start to finish. I think it's high school. Speaking, John Travolta's wife is in this. Is she really? I did not know that. Oh, he's driving over to the chop shop to get it all de-chopped, I should say. Darnell's Auto... What did that say? I missed it. Darnell. He's such a nerd. But it's great but even when he becomes more, cool, so to speak, I love that Carpenter didn't push him he still, you can tell that he's a bit of a poser. Do you know what I mean? That he's not really, he's posing. I mean, he's full of crap, Now, he really believes it, and the car is having that effect on him. But I love the fact that he still didn't lose. Like, yes, he's cooler than he was, but he still got that nerdishness to him within the coolness. Like, you can tell it's like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? And I like that because, again, it remains true to the character. It would have seemed really weird, almost as if he had a spiritual, literal, supernatural transition, which isn't the case. It's the car that's having the effect. The car is sort of manipulating Arnold's view of himself, and he's buying into the whole image thing. So when he changes, it's more of an organic thing in terms of there isn't anything that's spiritually changing him per se, like possessing him like it's possessing the car. It's just he's believing, what the car is selling, so to speak, right? It's almost like having a friend saying, "You gonna fucking let your parents, treat you like that? You're better than that. You're cooler than that. You want to fucking go to the chess club all the time? You just want to do chess all the time, Arnold? Is that all you want to do?" Well, no. Well, then you're better than that. Be cool, man. Here, let me buy you this. Let me buy you that, whatever. It's like having that friend that's influencing Arnold in that way. So, because you could have taken it to the point where it's almost like the car, because the car is literally supernatural, it's possessed Arnold. Like Arnold's, suddenly he's possessed and he's cool in that sense. Like it's like there's some supernatural entity that is possessing his body and he's like almost a different person. But even though he's cool, when he becomes cool, he's still Arnold at its core. And that I really like. I've always really liked that. That's funny. This guy here, I just watched an episode of Frasier the other day with the chop shop or the auto body shop owner here was in it. That's funny. Tabitha Short is here. Hey, Tabitha, welcome. Good to see you. Hey, guys, did we start yet? Oh, we definitely did, Tabitha. We are 25 minutes and 15 seconds into the movie. Glad of you to join us. It's always great when Tabitha can join us because obviously she is a very busy bee with being a new mom. So whenever she can pop in and say hello, it is always awesome. Tabitha, great to see you here. Frank Riker says, Kelly Preston, the hot one. The hot one. That's Travolta's wife? I know Kelly Wow, I didn't... For some reason I thought Preston looked differently. Did we start early? No, we started at 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock. It's 7:32 now. We're 25 minutes in, so that's about right, because usually there's about 5 minutes at the beginning where I'm, yip-yapping. Rick Michael says, I have seen this old man in something else. Can't think of what it is. Oh, the old man, the head of the chop. He's been in a lot of stuff. And like I said, I just watched an episode of Frasier that he was in. He's one of those character actors that you see and you're like, oh, yeah. Do you know what I mean? Tabitha says, I totally forgot. Damn, that's okay. Hey, you're busy. It's the holidays, right? It's completely understandable. I mean, look at me. I look like a bum. I got this big beard going on. It's my holiday beard. Don't worry, I am going to shave. I've just been lazy this week. Let's see here. Jason Knight says, is Dean Cundy the DP on this? I don't believe so. Let me double check, but I don't think so. No. The DP is Donald M. Morgan. But the music is by John Carpenter and Alan Howarth. Frank Riker says, Dave, what classic car would you have? Ooh, great question, Frank. I would say, what classic car? I don't know. That's a very good question. I mean, I definitely like my muscle cars. I mean, obviously, because I have a Challenger, so I love the way the old Challengers look, but I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, like, these type of cars were really nice, too. I haven't thought about it, really. That's a good question. Because I wouldn't say I'm a car guy. I can appreciate a really nice car like the rest of us can, right? And certainly that's the reason why I have the car I do. But I wouldn't say that I'm a car guy. So to know the ins and outs of all the models and the years, I definitely would not be an expert in that field. So maybe it's why I haven't thought about it too deeply of what classic car would I have. That's a very good question. I got to think on that, Frank. There's a lot of beautiful cars out there and when the summer rolls around here in Toronto, the spring even, I see, you'll be driving down the road and somebody's got an old 1950 something, right? You know what I mean? You're like, wow, that looks beautiful, Jason Ike says, the General Lee is my favorite. Oh, yeah. Well, if we're talking about like movie/pop culture cars, the General Lee is pretty darn cool. And that's a Charger. That's a Charger. That's cool. The Knight Rider car is really cool, right? The James Bond car. The original Batmobile. Jeez. Rick Michael says, my 9-year-old said the DeLorean. That'd be cool. The DeLorean is a cool car because, like, if the DeLorean, although, did the DeLorean, the family truckster, I'm right there with you, Frank. Did the DeLorean, when it was made, because the DeLorean was, it didn't sell, which is why, when the DeLorean was made, for you car guys in the room and gals, because Tabitha's here too, was the DeLorean like in Back to the Future? Obviously the doors go up like this, right? Was that just the DeLorean car doors? I mean, is that what they did, or was that modified for the movie? Where the doors just kind of open like that? Because if the doors on the DeLorean when they actually were made, if they actually went up, that's actually really cool. And it kind of helps with what I was about to say next. I was going to say that the DeLorean, if it wasn't for Back to the Future, I don't think the DeLorean, I mean, because really it's not really a, really, if you look at it, it's like, well, it's nothing special. And it's not particularly visually appealing, right? It's cool because when you see it, it's a time machine to you from a movie called Back to the Future. But if those movies didn't exist, then it would just be kind of like, okay, well, there's a lot, like the Knight Rider car and the General Lee and the Batmobile, and they're visually much more aesthetically appealing than the DeLorean. And what's great about this movie too is Arnold is using this car. He desperately wants a car of his own, but he's using this car. He's overcompensating, right? He's a nerd. He doesn't have any respect. Nobody likes him, but this, friend he's had for years. Girls don't like him. The car is his way. It's his means to and this isn't rocket science, obviously, but it's his way of, he believes, of being able to fit in and command the respect. Well, if I have this car, people will think that I'm somebody, right? It's a cliche, but I mean, that's what's happening with that character. Even though he might not realize it, he might not be thinking about that consciously. It is what's going on there. And, which is why the car is able to manipulate him in the ways it is, because he's vulnerable and insecure. This is so funny. The blonde? No, going for the brunette. Look at the hair, the wisps, early 80s hair. It's so funny. Tabitha Short says, I'm so mad at myself. I don't know why I was thinking 7:30. Oh, that's okay. No worries, Tabitha. Like I said, if you have Christine, which is okay if you don't, but if you do, we're 32 minutes and 37 seconds in. That's where we are. It happens. Hey, it happens, man. It happens. Jason Knight says, I sat in the DeLorean back in June at Niagara Falls Comic-Con. Cool. Yeah, well, that definitely would have had the doors go up like this, right? But I wonder if the real doors on the DeLorean, before it was ever a Back to the Future car, I wonder if they went up like that. Because if they did, that's pretty dope. Jason Knight says, the other girl is one of the twins from Final Chapter. Yes! Frank is on. Oh, wait, no, it's Jason said that. You're totally right. Man, you guys pick up on in my defense, I haven't seen this movie in a couple years. Well, no, that's not true. I saw it. No, that's not true. I saw it within the last year because Tony and I did a show on it. Right, the brunette is one of the twins from Friday the 13th 4. That's so funny. I would not have got that. I mean, now that you point it out, it's like, oh yeah, it's like what Frank did. I think it was Frank. Somebody said that Arnold was in Jaws 2, and I'm like, oh yeah, you're totally right, he was. And he was playing a similar kind of character. Like, he wasn't one of the cooler guys, He was similar in that regard, but not totally Arnold. Now, already we can see that Arnold has changed. He's not wearing his glasses. He's got a collared shirt on. Still kind of nerdy, but the beginning of the transition has happened. And you hear the father say, Arnold, you get back here, whatever. And he's like, fuck off with this shit, right? The car is already beginning to have an effect on him. And that was the scene that we saw a few moments ago when he was just sitting in the car. I think he was in the chop shop or whatever, or the body shop. It's not necessarily a chop shop, but those kind of shops are, because they chop away cars for parts and all that kind of shit. But anyway, the body shop. He's in there and he's sitting in the car and he's listening to the music or whatever, right? He's got there and he's kind of just, it's already having that effect on him because he's weak. He's weak and easily manipulated and easily persuaded and influenced. He's easily influenced. See, the mom's like, you're his best friend. What's going on? If he wasn't his best friend, if they did not know each other for years, he would have got rid of him. Jason Nikes follows up with, I sense a final chapter movie watch. Ooh, I've put it on the list before. But, you know, it all depends on what I put it up against or something, right? You know what? We totally should. Yeah, we haven't done a part 4. We've done part... It's funny, the Friday the 13th don't get a lot of votes. We've done part 1. I think that's it. I've put others up on there before. I put 3 up there, I'm pretty sure, and 4. And 2. Yeah, we got to do that. We got to do that for sure. He's going back to the old man now to get answers. Can you imagine? What the hell do you want, you fucker? See, now they're talking about the previous owner of the car. Sorry, I'm just listening to this because I'm trying to figure out whether I think what's happening here is they are alluding to the fact that the previous owner of the car died as well because the car was possessed. The car isn't possessed because of the previous, like it's not the spirit of the previous owner, which it actually is what's in the book. Like I said, Jason Knight says another great score. Yeah, man. Yep. That's Alan Howarth and Carpenter. Doubling their efforts. We must double our efforts. That's from Return of the Jedi. I hope so, Commander, for your sake. The Emperor is not as forgiving as I am. Let me see here. Oh, I saw that. My 9-year-old said the DeLorean. Yeah, the DeLorean is cool. So I am 38 minutes into the movie, and Dennis is walked into the shop looking at Christine, like, what the hell, man? I think this might be the first time he's seen the car sort of half, ready, half done, I think. He's trying to open it and he can't open it. Jason Knight says, my son says I do a good Yoda voice, Dave. Hey, that's good. Yeah. Yeah, Yoda, yeah. That doesn't surprise me, though. Yoda's one of those ones that if you kind of hit the right spot, you can do it. You can do pretty good. Rick Michael says, yes, there's some good music in this film. Absolutely. Where are we at? Frank, we are at 39 minutes and 15 seconds. Is where I am anyway. The scene where there's a football game going on. And Dennis obviously is just finished running with the ball. That's where we're at, folks. That's where we're at. This, I think this movie, when it came out, grossed about $20 million at the box office, I think, which was, respectable. Its budget, what was its budget? Its budget was $10 million, grossed $21 million. That's fine. I mean, it wasn't a huge hit or anything, but it wasn't a complete disaster. It wasn't a disaster at all, actually. I love the way this guy is going like this. Is that Cunningham's car? Or he says Cuntingham's car, I think is what he says, right? To make fun of him. But you can tell the way he holds his arm when he points that he's flexing. He wants his bicep to be accentuated when he says that. I'm dead serious. I'm not kidding. It's just the way he goes, is that Cuntingham's car? Like, it just looks funny. Like, nobody goes like this and holds their arm that close. Like, you just be like, is that Cunningham's car? You know, you wouldn't go like this and do this and have your bicep bulging. Oh, ho, 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 ho. He sees the girl he wants making out with Arnold. That's so funny. Jason Egg says, have you seen the Canadian movie The Rocket about Maurice Richard? I haven't, Jason, but I definitely know the movie you're talking about. That was a number of years ago now. I think that might have been a made-for-TV movie, was it not? I haven't seen it. Yeah, so Dennis, of course, got distracted because he's seeing Arnold making out with the girl that he wants. And he's probably thinking to himself, how the hell, how's that even possible? Like, I don't understand this. Oh, it's possible. And I love how everybody just kind of, you know, walks over to see if he's okay. And the camera's just doing this sort of slow kind of, you know, pan in or tracking shot, I should say. And then just kind of settles on the car as if it's like, hey, there's something going on with that car. November 5th. It says. And Arnold he looks like a completely different guy now. Calm, cool, collected, handsome. I wonder if sorry, I'm just listening to him speak. It's interesting to see the dynamic between these friends, sort of how it's evolved a little bit. You know, it's Arnold, you know, I get a feeling that even if the character wasn't possessed, Arnold could never be, even if he wanted to be that guy, you know, a cool guy, he would overcompensate, you know, because it's not who he is. And the reason why he's coming off as a dick is not just because he's, you know, well, he's not possessed, but just because he's being influenced by something that is, you know, but he's rebelling in a lot of ways, and the car is helping him do that. It's just fascinating. It's an interesting concept. Rick Michael says, I think in deleted scene it was his friend first. It was his friend first? What do you mean, Rick? Frank Riker says, John Carpenter used dates in here like in Halloween 3. Use dates. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Did he? I didn't know that. Oh, no. Okay. No, I know what you're saying now. Right. Sorry. I was thinking you meant something else. Yes. Titles. The dates. Yes. Okay. For some reason, I was like, I thought you were talking about Halloween 2. I was like, really? I didn't know that. And I'm like, Halloween 2 didn't have that. At the beginning it did, but not throughout. Because it's one night. The old drive-in. We were talking about that this morning on Thorazine. For those of you that joined us at Thorazine, did you see how the speaker is on the outside of the car there? We were talking about that. And how it's kind of inside the car. Yeah, that was long before ever being able to. Oh, he's going in for the boobage. He's going for the boobage, folks. The boobage. Rick Michael says his girlfriend. I think in Deleted Scene it was his friend first. His girlfriend first. The car? Oh, you mean it was his... Sorry, guys. I'm confused. You're referring to Arnold's... A little more context. Sorry, buddy. Jason Ike says Blood Rage has the best drive-in scene. Blood Rage. I haven't seen that. Ooh, why can't she do it in the car? There's just something, Arnold. There's something that I just can't do it in the car. She hates it. She can't explain it, but she hates it. Tabitha says, I have family in town. I wasn't able to join this AM. No worries. Hey, it's the holidays, right? Completely understandable. Hopefully everything went well with the fam this morning. Frank Riker says, I never watched the movie at the drive-in. Wink, wink. I can't say I ever took a girl to the drive-in. No. I've been to the drive-in. Well, that's not true. My girlfriend and I went to a drive-in years ago. But I mean, back when I was like in high school and stuff. Went to the drive-in, but it was just me and my buddies usually. Or it was a group of people, right? Like, you know, me, a couple buddies, a couple girls. You know, we're all friends hanging out, watching a movie and all that kind of stuff. Never a date, though. He gets very attached to the car. He's just like, it's because it's he doesn't realize this, but the car is you know, I mean, it's the source of his power. It's a sort, he feels he needs, it's like somebody who really feels like it's like when you put on a jacket, right? And you become almost a different person, or you feel naked without your jacket. And if you remove the jacket, or if it's taken away from you, then who you really are deep inside is exposed. And I mean, you could almost do this movie without the car being possessed and just have it about this guy who's, you know, influenced by his car. But then what fun would that be? I love this scene. I did a promo for this movie. Not when it came out, obviously. I was only 4. But I used to be the voice of a movie channel up here in Canada for about 5 years, I guess. And then and they used to show Christine a lot. And I remember doing some promos for Christine. And that shot where she goes like this, but you see it from above, I'm pretty sure that was in a couple of the promos I did. I love this. What the hell are you doing? Get your goddamn hands off her. He's fucking trying to save her life, buddy. But he's so, he doesn't care about that. He's so delusional. And obviously the reason why Christine was attacking the woman, the girl here, is not just because she said, I hate the car, but she's a threat. She's a threat of taking Arnold away from the car, right? And she's a threat of influencing Arnold to essentially, you know, shape up kind of thing. It's like a dependent mother who has a real good relationship with her son, or a toxic relationship, depending on how you look at it. And the son starts dating a girl. And the mother starts to almost want to sabotage things, and because the mother is jealous and fearful that their relationship is going to change because the mother is so dependent on the child. And I think you know what I'm talking about, right? It's that kind of thing, similar with this. So anybody that comes into contact with Arnold and in that car is not going to be good enough for the car, because the car needs Arnold and loves to manipulate him. And so that's why it attacked her. It's like, I don't fucking like you. Look at this guy. He's so sick. He's so, like, you can sense it though, right? Like I said at the beginning of the stream, he's cooler than he was, but he's still got that nerdy undertone there because it's not who he really is. Oh, let me see here. Frank Reiger says, I never watched that movie at the drive. Yes. Blood Rage is a very cheesy Thanksgiving slash movie. I'll have to check it out, Jason, because I've never heard of it. So I'll definitely have to check it out. Rick Michael says, does this take place in the 50s? It feels like it. No, I don't believe it takes place in the 50s. I think it takes place in the late 70s, I think. Now, the movie's 1983, but I think this is supposed to be like, 79, 80, something like that? I think it's the late 70s, but I stand to be corrected. Let me just quickly see if there's... "21 years later, in September 1978. It's 1978. This is supposed to take place. Frank Reiger says, how is this girl hot? She was terrible in Baywatch. Are those baked potatoes on the dash? The car's like Norman Bates' mother. In some ways, that's true, Frank. Norman Bates' mother, or Norman Bates, spoiler alert, that's actually a very good point. That yes, in many ways, it is like that, right? It's a jealous mother. That's a great analogy. It's a beautiful car, though. Rick Michael says, I think in deleted scenes, the girl was his friend's girlfriend first. She cheated on him. Ah, okay. I see what you're saying, Rick. Gotcha. I didn't know that. Cool. Guess you could do it either way. It doesn't really make a difference. This is probably better, actually, if they weren't. Again, I mean, listen, what are we now? We are 53 minutes into the movie. And not a whole lot has happened. There's been enough that's happened to keep you on the edge of your seat a little bit, but it's another slow burn. Carpenter is most of his movies, most of his horror films anyway, whether it's Halloween, The Thing, The Fog, this movie, In the Mouth of Madness, Village of the Damned, they have slow burns. Now, not every Carpenter film is as good as all the others, or not every one is as creepy or suspenseful, but they all sort of have an insidious nature to them where it's sort of building, and, they don't, at least in my estimation, from what I can remember, they don't tend to peak too early, where now you're just watching a bunch of, it always feels like you're growing and growing and growing and growing and growing, and then it's the third act where it just all kind of comes together, which in a lot of ways is how it's supposed to be. But you feel that a lot with many of Carpenter's films. I wouldn't say that Christine is one of my favorite Carpenter movies. It's definitely fun to watch because the premise is interesting. But I don't think it would be in my top. Well, it'd be in my top 5 maybe, but it would probably be 5th if it was in my top 5. But it might not even be in my top 5. But I like it a lot. Yeah, maybe it's my top 5. And we have the scene now where the muscular John Travolta and his buddies, his goons, I should say, are tearing and messing up Christine. And then, of course, when the car actually, shape shifts almost back to its glorious self, that was reversed in post-production. They actually reversed it, and which is a really good idea to do. simple, effective. We wouldn't know the difference. Jason Knight says, there's the guy from Friday 2. I think I know who you're talking about. One of the goons, right? I think. Frank Riker says, Halloween came out in 78. Coincidence? I probably just a coincidence, because I although I don't know, I would have to see what, does anybody know, or those of you watching after the fact will definitely be able to chime in if you've read the book. What year does it take place in the book? Or was that just something Carpenter changed? I'm not sure. Because if it's 1978 in the book, well, then it's just, a coincidence. I love how emotional Arnold gets here. I'm at the scene now where, of course, he's walking with his girlfriend, for all intents and purposes, to show her the car because she's ready to accept, okay, fine. And he just fucking loses it. And that was great. And I love this music. You hear this music? That's really good. It's good stuff. He can't believe it. He's stunned, because what's happened here is whoever did this, and he probably has an idea who did, but whoever did this has taken now, it's not just a car that's damaged. It's taking a piece of your identity away. And you know what? In a lot of ways, if you have a really nice car, if you have a car that's, and I'm not knocking anybody's car, but if you have a standard issued car, right? Like, let's say a Toyota Camry or a Corolla or a Honda Civic or something like that. Not that it's not really nice, and not that you don't like the car, but if something was to happen to the car, generally speaking, you probably wouldn't feel like part of your identity is taken away. You'd be upset. Like, God, I got to, my insurance is going to go up. I got to get a new car. What the fuck? It's an inconvenience, massive inconvenience financially and otherwise. But a piece of your identity, not necessarily. But if you have a really nice car, it becomes almost part of your identity in some ways. And especially for somebody like Arnold, who is using this car as the catalyst to command respect or have a newfound sort of outlook on life, he believes that he can't be who he is without the car. And in some ways, that's not true, but in other ways it is, because the car has made him believe that. So when he comes around the corner and he sees the car, that's why he has that reaction, totally forgets about his girl, because it's like a piece of him has been destroyed, and he can't believe it. Look at this father. He's one of these useless, like the mom gets all the good lines. The mom is sort of the highlight. The dad just gets a line here or there. He's just a useless stooge, really. Frank Riker says, the Afro goon got shock from Bill Murray in Ghostbusters. Yes! Man, you guys are on fire tonight. It's funny you say that, because I'm being sincere when I say this. There's been a few people in this movie where I'm like, I know where I've seen them from. The twin from Friday the 13th 4, no, I was like, oh my God, yes, you're right, but I didn't notice that. Oh, hang on, the dad's having a shining moment here. He's pushing his son up, throws him up against the wall, and Arnold just fucking loses it. Grabs his father and strangles him. I think there should have been more of a struggle there, and maybe Arnold should have punched the dad, knocking him to the ground. Because I don't necessarily believe, I don't know what Carpenter was going for there. Are we supposed to believe that, because the dad is clearly bigger, probably stronger, he shoves Arnold right up against the back of the stairs there, knocks a picture down, and then Arnold just sort of reaches up and grabs the dad's throat, and the dad just suddenly stops and is like this. But I don't get the sense that Arnold is overpowering him. And I don't necessarily believe that there's some sort of supernatural force in Arnold that has paralyzed his dad, because he's just so, he's got so much strength that I don't necessarily think that's what's going on there. I think it was just maybe Carpenter wanted to pass off that the dad was stunned, that this, his nerdy son suddenly attacked back. Maybe that was it, but I think I would have had him punch the father and the father sort of back up and maybe fall into the couch or something. And he's there going like, what the fuck, right? That would have been interesting. As is, I've always felt this way when I watch this movie. As is, it's just kind of like, I think you could have done a little more there. But again, you see him going to, here he is at the shop, you know, staring at the car. See, the car is speaking to him almost telepathically in some respects. Now, this is a cool scene. Love this music. You know what? Listening to this soundtrack now, I think I'm going to have to go get the soundtrack for Christine because it's really good. I love that. And I love that there's that sensual saxophone music playing. Because what this is implying is that it's almost like a woman getting undressed. You know what I mean? Or a woman coming, you know, it's like showing all the curves again and the, you know, accenting the accentuation of her body and all that kind of stuff. It's like you're seeing the evolution of beauty. Do you know what I mean? And that's why at the beginning you heard like that saxophone kind of play, typical 80s cheese sex scene kind of thing, right? All the different curves and he's there kind of, you know, checking it out. There is definitely that undertone. I don't necessarily think he's like, you know, having sex with a car, but there's certainly that emotional deep attachment to the car is definitely there. Darren Sand says, Christine is set in the summer of 78 in the book. Ah, there you go. Cool. Well, there you go. Then it was just a coincidence. Great of Darren to join us, because obviously 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, it's got to be like 1 o'clock in the morning where you are right now, Darren. So awesome of you to tune in. Jason Ike says, I think there would be more action sequences with the car if they made it now. Oh, you think? My God, the car now. It would almost be difficult to make a Christine movie today and not want to lean the Transformers route. Do you know what I mean by that? Because the car is supernatural, right? It's possessed. But you want to have the car doing things or weird things that cars just can't do. So it almost would be weird. Like I could totally see them. I don't think they would end up doing it, but I could see them having a difficult time, you know, or trying to resist making things happen that feel a little Transformer-ish, you know? I love this song. Little Bitty Pretty One, I think it is. Love that song. One of my favorite old tunes. Love that. Love the tracking shot. Love the music. Nice juxtaposition. You ain't mad, are you? And on come the lights. And then the Carpenter score kicks in and changes. It's like Michael Myers, but in a car. And I don't even think Arnold's in the car. I think it's just the car. The car's pissed off. I'd be pissed off too. Yeah, this is a good soundtrack. And again, credit goes not just to Carpenter, but to Alan Howarth as well. I believe the two of them collaborated on the music for this movie. But it's good stuff. Typical classic synth early 80s John Carpenter. You know what I'm saying? Bum 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 bum. Love that stuff. Yeah, I might have to download this. It's good shit. Frank Riker says, just imagine the remake with an electric car stopping to recharge. Well, see, that's the thing. It probably wouldn't need to recharge, right? Because Christine probably doesn't even need gas. Do you know what I mean? I get what you're saying, though. That would be funny. Or even, you know, this car is stopping to fill up or something. Just run as fast as you can and hope it runs out of gas or something. So at the scene now, we are, where are we? We are an hour and 5 minutes into the movie. Of course, one of the goons is running down the alleyway, trying to get away from Christine with that awesome score. And then, of course, he has him cornered. And I love this. I love that it's too narrow for the car in actuality, but the anger is so deep. The disrespect is so deep that the car is just like, fuck it. No, you're a dead man. And of course, he smushes him in the... Of course, if this movie was made today, you'd see the torso being cut in half and blood spewing all over the place. But back then, you just see that. That sound. Woo! Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Frank Riker said, yes, I answered that already. Or acknowledged it, I should say. Dennis is still in the hospital. Wow. He's still in the hospital. Did you hear what happened to Mooch? And Dennis knows. I mean, he's like, you know what? Arnold, man, you're not yourself. There's something fucked up here. I love how they just have... You see, it's almost as if Arnold is possessed, literally, but he's not really. I mean, if you want to think he is, I think you could make an argument that he is. But I don't believe the car is possessed, and the car is communicating, however, and manipulating the weak-minded, the vulnerable, the weak, which is Arnold. But I love when he's talking to his friend Dennis here in the hospital, he's just staring at him and saying things like, you should totally see it. It was just absolutely amazing. You know? I blinked there, but he didn't blink. He's just going, what's going on? Yeah, it's amazing. You really got to see it. Huh. He doesn't blink. He just kind of, it's almost like, what the fuck is wrong? Like, it is almost like he's possessed. Here's some trivia for you. Well, I can't say that. He's been in a lot of movies. This guy here, a detective here, he's been in a lot of old movies. Rick Michael says, the windows are blacked out sometimes, but not all the time. Yes, that's probably... they're probably blacked out because they don't want you to see the driver driving the car when it's supposed to be just the car. But they do that at night because then it could just be passed off as, the windows are dark just because it's just dark. You know what I mean? It's nighttime, it's dark, can't see much. Darren Sand says, talking of car movies, I just watched Ford v Ferrari tonight, one of my favorite movies of the year. Darren, I hear it's fantastic. I haven't seen it yet, but I hear it's great. And I still haven't watched The Irishman yet. I got to watch that. Yeah, I want to see Ford v Ferrari. Ford versus Ferrari. I got to see that. Frank Riker says, I think they used miniature cars. They had to. For Christine, did they use miniatures? I don't know. They might have. I haven't heard that. Maybe they did for some scenes, although I don't know. Maybe. I don't think they did. Jason Ike says there is the angel from One... Yes, that's right. Yes, he is. Yeah, Gideon from One Magic Christmas, which is one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time. One Magic Christmas. which was shot up here in Canada, by the way, up in near Meaford, Ontario, little town north of Toronto. That's right, Harry Dean Stanton in the Green Mile. That's right. Yep, he was in the Green Mile as well. Yeah, he was the guy that was doing all the rehearsals for the electric chair. I'm not a scout. I like that. I like when he says, Scout's honor, I'm not a scout. I like that because, again, no offense to those who were in scouts or, whatever, but obviously that's a very, I don't want to say nerdy, but it's there's a stereotype around it, right? A scout is somebody that does good things, that is honorable, that, does things by the book, is for all intents and purposes a good person. And Arnold's just fucking tired of being a good person. So I like when he's like, I'm not a scout. Even though it's just an expression, Scout's honor, you don't have to be a scout. It just means like you promise, right? Because scouts would promise and they wouldn't be lying, So it's just a figure of speech. It's just an expression. But he takes it so seriously. Because it means so much to him to get rid of this identity that he cannot escape. I'm not a scout. And it's like, well, yeah, but you are. You're not acting like one right now, but you are. Darren said Harry Dean Stanton, who was also in Escape from New York. Yes, he was also. Yes, he was. Escape from New York, The Green Mile, One Magic Christmas. He's been in a bunch of stuff. He's one of those character actors, that you're like, oh, I know that guy. Where do I know that guy from? Frank Reiger says, just looked up. They used 24 cars. They did 24 cars. Wow. Were any of them miniatures, or was it 24 full-sized Plymouth Furies? Although, like I said, it wasn't Plymouth Furies. It was another car that looked very similar. Jason Knight says the series Slasher is filmed up north. The series Slasher is filmed up north in Sault Ste. Marie or in North Bay, I believe. Cool. I didn't know that. Yeah, they shoot a lot of stuff up here, obviously. It's cheaper. Our dollar is only 75 cents to the US dollar, so obviously you can spend less and get more up here if you're coming from the States. Of course, if I'm going down to the States, it's the complete opposite. You're totally right. The guy at the beginning of Ghostbusters that Bill Murray is just fucking with because he thinks the girl is cute. What does he say? He's like, I didn't sign up for this, okay? Or what is you agreed to it. We're paying you, aren't we? Or something like that, he says to the guy. It's just so funny. Bill Murray was great in that movie. That's a nice car. I think that's a Charger as well, I think. That's a nice car. I like the color. That actually is very similar. That color is very similar to my Challenger. My Challenger, some people think my Challenger's black because I posted a photo of it on my Instagram months ago. It does look black, but it's just the sunlight. It's actually a grayish black. It's not gray, or destroyer gray as they call it, and it's not fully black. It's like kind of in between. It's like I forget the name, I forget the color or the name of the color now. But in some light it looks black, and in another light you're like, oh yeah, that's not quite black. That's more. It's sort of. Although that's really. I was looking at the Charger again. That's actually kind of. That's more gray. Harry was an alien too. Was he an alien? I don't. Oh. Yes, he was. I would never have got that. I haven't seen Alien in a long time. I got to brush up on my Aliens. It's a lot of classics I haven't seen in a long time that I gotta brush up on. And Alien and Aliens are definitely two. I got to. Darren Sand says it's a figure of 8. It's a figure of 8? I must have missed something. Jason Knight says, and the cute girl from Ghostbusters was in 18 again. And Charles in Charge. Charles in Charge. Charles in Charge of our... Na, na, na. I like Charles in Charge. That was a fun movie. See, what's great about... Yeah, you can see how the windows are blacked out. But it's done well. Like, the windows are tinted. But they're done in a way where it's kind of like... Maybe you can pass it off as at nighttime when the car, drives on its own and it becomes possessed, the windows all get dark, right? It's something that the car is doing to itself. Do you know what I mean? Woo! I love that. Gasoline, baby! Seeking revenge on the people that hurt her. Now this guy, this nerdy looking guy that just went up in the fire, one of the goons. I love this. The car comes out on fire. Come on, that's awesome. That's awesome. Like, that is awesome. That is awesome. Anytime there's a vehicle in a horror movie driving on fire, I'm just like, that's fucking awesome. It's very Halloween 3-ish, the music. I love how the car's driving down this lonely road just on fire. Bing, ding, 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 ding. This is awesome. Although the guy's not running fast enough. He's just he's not running fast enough. He should be sprinting. He should be sprinting. There you go. There you go. There you go. Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's better. That's better. That's better. Yeah, the car on fire is great. Yeah, that's awesome. I don't know if he'd be... Well, yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. I won't nitpick. Darren says, it's a figure of 8. Oh, you put it in quote. Okay, he guesses the... Right. Yes. Okay. Sorry, I thought you were answering somebody else and it was in... But, okay, yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, the very last card, I think, is one he answers correctly, right? And then he gets buzzed. Car from hell, yeah. There's definitely layers there for that as well. 100%, yeah, it's possessed. Is it the devil? I mean, not, but you know what I mean, right? Metaphorically speaking. Frank Riker says they use the Belvedere and the Savoy to compensate. Yes. I knew that because I read about that this morning when I was reading up on the car. Because I think the Plymouth Fury was, they didn't make many, like a few thousand or something like that. And they when it came time to do this movie, they were very difficult to find. So they had to sort of find models that were similar and then make some modifications, not major, but some slight adjustments to help, pass it off as the Fury. Rick Michael says the car on fire is awesome. Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, that is definitely awesome. And one of my favorite scenes in the movie for sure is when that car catches fire. 100%. 100%. Here's another one of our character actors that are just, I love how the car comes in, back to the shop, all on fire. Or, the fire's out, just smoke, sizzling. Come on out. It's over. It's over. I like that. If I'm gonna have to come in and get you, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you, you fuckers. No, he didn't say that. I just added that. Frank Riker said, who would win, Christine or Charlie Sheen's car in The Wrath? I think Christine would win. She's in it for the long haul. I think she would win. Ooh. It's cold, I bet. Is it cold or hot? It's probably hot. Be honest. There's nobody there. But how's that possible? The car just came in on its own and I saw it. I didn't see anybody leave. How the fuck is that possible? You can definitely hear Alan Howarth's contribution to the music. Like I can just certain notes, pitches, certain creative choices in the musical cues, which is cool because I think Alan Howarth, I don't know what he would do today if he was hired to score just some other movie, but I like that. I like how the radio comes on. It tells you the car's alive. The production design on this movie with the car is great. It's great. I think what should have happened there is the car should have pushed him so far forward that the seat lifted up and smushed his head into the glass, and it's pushing through, and then his head gets like pushed through the glass, and the breaking of the glass slices his jugular vein, and he's there and he's lying on like outside of the windshield with blood, with the red blood spewing over the ash of the car. What do you think of that? Now, obviously, I mean, rather than just the seat pushing him so tightly against the dash, he just goes like this, push him right up, and like it just kind of pushes him out, cutting his vein, and he's lying there, and the red blood, because the car, we can't see the red of the car, right? Because it's all covered in ash and soot and fire, and it's burned. Just have the red, drip over the hood of the car, down the side, over the wheel, and that red, that juxtaposition, that contrast between the red blood and the ash would be really cool. And it's also symbolic of the fact that the car is a red car. It's almost saying like, I'm still here. You know what I mean? Like, I think that would have been really cool. I don't know what you guys think about that, but I think that would have been really cool. It works fine. Let's not forget it's a film from 1983, but I think that would have been cool. Let's see here. Frank Riker says, Rick Michael says, dumb things people do in horror movies. Would you sit in that burned car? Yeah, probably not. Especially if I realized that, nobody was in it and it had just rolled into my shop. And here it is, back to normal. Completely back to normal. Darren Sand says, name another movie in which Christine makes an appearance. Well, I know there's that little short that Carpenter did a couple years ago where Christine makes an appearance. It's a little short. It's a music video, I think, for one of his his lost themes, I think. But that's not a movie. Cat's Eye. Okay, cool. I didn't know that. I haven't seen Cat's Eye. If Frank is right, I haven't seen Cat's Eye. But I think Christine makes an appearance in that music video, if I'm not mistaken. But I could be mistaken. But that's just a couple years ago. But Cat's Eye, I haven't seen that. Ready Player One. Oh, Ready Player One. Does it really? I love Ready Player One. It was one of my favorite movies from last year. What scene does that appear in, Darren? Do you remember, like, at what moment? Because I might be like, oh, fuck yeah. I love that movie. Classic Spielberg. The race scene. Okay, I'm going to have to take another look. Wait, is it just at the beginning there where you see, like, you know, the DeLorean and is because if it's at the beginning where they're doing that sort of that sweep across to see everybody at the beginning, then I think I know. I think I may have seen it. I think I may have seen it. I got to watch that again because that's cool. Yes. Okay. Then I think yes. Okay. All right. Yep. I think I know now. I'm still gonna have to check it out again, but it's sort of starting to click a little bit. That's cool. That's such a fun movie. Frank Reiger says she appeared in the opening credits of Cat's Eye along with Cujo. Cool stuff. And like I said, if I'm not mistaken, a couple years ago, Carpenter did he directed a little short thing for I think one of his music videos or a theme that he was doing. Whatever. I think Christine was in that. I think the car was in that, if I'm not mistaken. Jason Knight says Ready Player One was awesome. I could not agree more. If that movie had come out 35 years ago, we'd be talking about Ready Player One today like we talk about E.T. or The Goonies or, yeah. I mean, it just was that. It was classic Spielberg. It's why you go to the movies. You know, unfortunately, in today's day and age, with a blockbuster being released every weekend, you know, it comes out and it gets swept under the rug by the very next week. But I think it was a lot of fun, and just, yeah, it was great to see Spielberg doing that kind of a movie again, because over the last 10 years or so, he's been diving into a lot of the more serious films and the biopics. So it was nice to see him do a classic adventure kids, you know, fun movie. It was just great to see that again. And he proves that yes, it's based on a book and it's not necessarily an original piece that he helped write or something like that. But certainly his directing sensibilities and his sense of adventure and his sense of characters and how to build those. I mean, it wasn't a perfect film, but it definitely, he proved again why he's the godfather of that kind of movie and the blockbuster adventure film. And I just had a ball with it. Frank Riker says, who would win, Christine or the truck from Duel? Ooh, Frank! We got to watch Duel. I got to put Duel on the list. That's one of my favorite, that's one of my favorite movies, period, is that movie. We got to put Duel on the list. Or Kit. Kit's got turbo boost. I think Kit would win in a race. Kit would just stay one step ahead of Christine. I actually think Christine and the truck from Duel is a better matchup because of their speeds. Maybe. Was the speedometer going backwards? I think it was. Jason Knight says, do you think 20 years from now the MCU will be talked about? Yes, I think the MCU will be talked about. But it's relative, you know, it's yeah, I think it will be. It depends if it has staying power. And in terms of, you know, what Marvel continues to do moving forward. There's also a lot of movies and stories and stuff, so it can be very heavy on the material. So it's being a casual Marvel fan is almost something you can't do. I mean, you can, of course you can, but I just mean really to get the bigger picture, big sense of things. Whereas Star Wars, I think appeals because of the themes of Star Wars and the religious undertones and the hero's journey and the mythology, and it has, I think, a broader universal appeal in that regard. Whereas Marvel, it depends. It depends. I don't know. I'm not really sure. It depends what the entertainment landscape is like in 20 years. But certainly, I mean, it would be today's version of Star Wars, and a lot of people love it. A lot of people just are emotionally attached to it and invest in it. And, will it be talked about and revered like Star Wars is? Probably not in the same ways. I mean, Star Wars changed the way movies were made. The Marvel Cinematic Universe hasn't necessarily changed the way movies were made. They've changed things, but there's movies before Star Wars and there's movies after Star Wars, and that's largely because of the special effects and the approach, sound, I mean, Marvel exists, the spectacle of Marvel exists today because of Star Wars. So, I don't know. We'll see. It's a good question. I have to think about it a bit more, form my thoughts a bit. So we are a minute 31 seconds into the movie, and of course Dennis and Arnold are in the car, and Dennis is really beginning to see the gravity of how much this car has an emotional or a hold on Arnold. He's addicted to it. Jason Knight says, I just feel like the 80s pushed out so many classics. Well, they did. I mean, again, it's relative, right? Like there are, 20-something-year-olds who feel about the prequel trilogy of Star Wars like we do the originals. They really do exist. I mean, there are kids right now young adults that have the exact same emotional attachment to them about the prequels as we do about the original film. So a lot of it is relative, right? And what you grew up with, what was important to you at the time. Marvel is going to be somebody's Star Wars. But I think how we measure that impact is basically what I'm trying to say, is that when I'm asked a question like that, I should probably do a video on it where I talk about sort of how, is Marvel going to be seen as the same way as Star Wars? And then the question is, after that, what's the measuring stick, right? What's the bar that we use to measure this to come to our conclusion? Is it about pop culture relevance? Is it about technology? Is it about affecting the movie industry? Is it about, box office? Is it about storytelling? Is it about, there's so many different ways to be able to actually measure those things. It's like when I did the video on what are the most iconic houses in horror, and I came to the conclusion that the most iconic house in horror is the Psycho House. But there was a very specific criteria that I used to determine that, because there's many different criteria you could determine. What's your favorite horror movie? What's the most popular? What's the most, recognized? What's the house used in the most movies? You know what I mean? So I would do the same thing with that. I would just have to think about it a bit more and sort of kind of come to a conclusion, because it's a fascinating topic. Great question. Let me see here. Rick Michael says his eyes are open so wide I think they're going to pop. It's true, because it's that adrenaline rush that he's feeling, because it's like an addict that is high. He's high. Whenever Arnold sits in that car, he's high. He gets high. Whenever he's not in it, and he, leaves it alone, he will no doubt be in bed, or when he gets up first thing in the morning, he wants to go sit in it. He wants to hold the wheel. He wants to talk to it, communicate, because he feels he's connected to it and he's addicted to it, and he gets a high from it because, it's giving him something that he thinks he needs, but that he doesn't really need. Darren Sand says, did anyone ever see The Car with James Brolin? Post-Duel, but before Christine. Very similar. No, I haven't. And I love James Brolin. Love him. Of course, obviously the father of Josh Brolin. I'm going to have to check that out. The Car. What year was that, Darren? Hang on a sec. I'll just ask my Google. I got a home Google from my girlfriend. Hey, Google. What year is The Car with James Brolin?
The Car was released globally on May 13th, 1977.
Thank you. 1977, May 13th. Cool. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, I got a Google Home for Christmas. One of the gifts from my girlfriend. So I was like, oh, that's awesome. That's going to come in handy because now I don't have to hang on a sec, guys. What the... Hey, hang on. Darren says, Google The Car and you'll see how similar it is. That's definitely something I can't do with Google Home. They haven't, although I bet you it's coming. Eventually, you'll have like a Google Home where they'll like show you like a hologram, like, of like the movie poster or something. That's coming. It's coming. But I definitely will Google that. You know what? Let's do it right now. Do it while I'm thinking about it. The Car, 1977. Ooh. I like the look. Ooh. I love the look of that car. Darren, dude, that's like a mean looking car. I love the look. It's almost like the Darth Vader. Oh, I just missed something in the movie. Oh no, I missed something in the movie. There we go. Okay, I'm back in. The car's chasing his girlfriend. No. But I love the look of that car, Darren. It almost looks like it's got like a Darth Vader sort of presence to it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, guys, if you can, for those of you that are watching now, and for those of you that are watching after the fact, when this goes up on my channel, Google The Car 1977 with James Brolin, and take a look at the look of the car. It's ominous and creepy looking. Love it. It's got like a Darth Vader kind of look. It's really cool. I'm definitely gonna have to check that out. And Darren, if I like the movie, I'll throw it up for a Saturday movie night. For sure. Maybe we'll do like Duel, The Car. Of course, we've done Christine, but make it sort of like a vehicle-themed movie night or something. I love that look. That's awesome. I can't remember now because I don't think he's in the car, right? No, he's not. No, he's not. See, the car knows, obviously, that Arnold's friends are there to, Oh, or is he in the car? Maybe he is in the car. I don't think he... I don't think he is. Anyway, they know that Arnold's friends are there that are up to no good, so to speak. And Jason Ike says, I love this scene coming up. I'm pretty sure, buddy, you're talking about the scene that we're right in the middle of now. And yeah, it's cool, for sure. I love that sound. Love that. But how do you destroy a car that is supernaturally possessed, that can just, materialize itself back into perfect and pristine existence? We're about to find out. back. We're back. Thought I froze there for a minute, but I think we're okay. Look at... Oh, yeah, okay, so he is in the car. Okay, cool. I thought he was in the car because I saw his hands. Look at his face. I love that ominous blue lighting. It's so cold and, you know, like, this is full on. Arnold is... And you could make the argument that Arnold... I mean, again, you can make the argument all through the movie that Arnold is possessed, literally possessed, but I don't believe he is. I think it's the stranglehold that Christine has on him because he's weak. He's weak. And he's easily influenced and manipulated. But just that shot of him in the car, you know, with the blue face and everything, just it's almost like it's peak, you know. I love that sound, pulling it out. So Arnold now is pretty much mortally wounded. And was she worth it, Arnold? Was she worth it, buddy? I mean, let's think of it that way. Was she worth it? I love how he's touching her like, goodbye, my love. Goodbye. I love how the lights go out there as well. It's the life. The life has been sucked by, it's just, yeah, it's over. It's almost like the spirit, yes, the car is possessed, but in some ways too, it's almost like the car is using Arnold or whoever wound up in there as a host, you know, to do its dirty work, even though it doesn't need the host per se, but, you know. I love all those sort of layers that you can kind of speculate on. Jason Knight says, here is a hard movie night choice. The Thing, Predator, Aliens, Tremors. Oh! That is tough. That is tough. That is tough. Tremors. I love Tremors. The first Tremors. I'm not into the other ones, but I really do love the first Tremors a lot. That's a fun one. The one with Kevin Bacon. Yeah, we should do a Tremors. We should definitely do Tremors. That's fun. So where are we here? We are an hour and 42 minutes into the movie, 7 minutes remaining in the film, and we have Dennis in the bulldozer trying to tear Christine apart. And it's like, how do you do it? What do you do? But he's determined. Frank Riker says, Christine versus Optimus Prime. I think Optimus Prime would win. I have a feeling Optimus Prime would somehow win. You know, when I was at the Voice Arts Awards this past year, obviously Peter Cullen, who is the voice of Optimus Prime, was getting his Lifetime Achievement Award. And I didn't get an opportunity to meet him, but I definitely, in the after party there, saw him. And he's a lot shorter than I expected him. I'm not a tall guy. I mean, I'm only about 5'8", but he looked like he was like, at least from the distance I saw him, he looked like he was like 5'5" or something, or 5'6". He looked small, which surprised me. I guess because he's got such a booming, cool voice, right? And he's Canadian, which is really cool. But, yeah, just anecdotal trivia for you there.
Hey, Peter Cullen looks kind of short. Okay, on with my day.
Tabitha Short says, gotta go put Austin to sleep. Hope I talk to everyone soon. Good night. Yes, Tabitha, thank you for joining us. We know you're busy, so anytime you can pop in is totally awesome. We hope to see you soon as well. Yes, absolutely 100%. Have a great night and a great rest of your holiday. And let's see, I got two dudes on Monday night, but if we don't see you before the new year, Happy New Year, and we'll definitely see you in the new year. Frank Riker says Christine was ahead of the Me Too movement. Yes, that's true. Long ahead. Long ahead. I love how the bulldozer is like just going over every part of the car, but yet you can tell the car is struggling. Like it's sort of, it wants to come back, but it's just too heavy. It's just too heavy. Oh, that's right. I totally forgot about just kind of just mashing it, just totally mashing into this big little brick, this block. No, you guys didn't. You fucked up. Yeah, but you saved potentially more victims. That's what you guys did. You saved more victims. Doesn't the radio turn on, though? Oh, right. It's from there. I thought the radio did turn on, though. Something happens, though. A light or something. Or, you know what? You could just cut to black without showing anything, and that would be amazing. Oh. Right. Okay, cool. You see a bit of the metal move? I forgot about that. I forgot about that. But you know what, though? You could have just as easily sort of that slow zoom up, you hear the wind and you're zooming up, you think something's going to happen, and then you just kind of hold there for a moment, hold, and then just cut to black. You totally could have done that, and I actually think it would have been just as effective. Obviously we see a bit of the metal move and it's like, but nonetheless, cool stuff. I mean, yeah, folks, that was John Carpenter's Christine from 1983. Just a classic film in its own right. It's sort of become a cult sort of classic. It wasn't, hugely successful at the box office or anything like that, but definitely it is one of John Carpenter's best known movies. And it's always great to sit down and watch these things with you guys and just shoot the shit and talk and watch the movie together and just have some fun, which is what Saturday movie night is. So that is going to do it for me here on this Saturday movie night. I want to thank all my patrons who tuned in to watch. Again, I want to thank you for your support each and every month. It means the world to me, and it helps keep these things going. 2020 is just around the corner, so I'm excited to see what that has in store for us. But again, I really appreciate the support. It does not go unnoticed, and I think you guys are amazing. And for those of you that are watching after the fact, if you're thinking about becoming a patron, click the link below in the description. Check it out. If you have a very specific concern or question, feel free to shoot me a message via my official Facebook, and I or my assistant will let me know that it's there, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Again, I get a lot of messages each and every day, so unfortunately I can't respond to everybody as much as I would love to, because there's just so many, which just still blows my mind that I get that many, to be honest with you. But I always do my best to read as much as I can. So, but yeah. Next Saturday, well, I'll have the schedule out for January, in the coming week or so. And then, something else I wanted to say, but it slipped my mind. Oh, well, I'm sure I'll think of it as soon as I get off the air, because that usually is how these things go. But anyways, yes, Frank Riker, Jason Nike, Tabitha Short, Darren Sands, Johan Hasbaka was in here at some point too, and so was Rick Michaels was in here, David was in here, a bunch of people were in here, which is awesome. And guys, if I don't, again, Two Dudes and Some Bullshit this Monday night, 7:00 p.m. Eastern time. Scream, Tony and I are watching Scream. But if you can't make it, if I don't see you in there, have a happy New Year's. Do not drink and drive. Whatever, have a great time, but certainly don't do that, because I want to see all your lovely avatars and faces in the chat room in the new year. So that is going to do it for me. In the meantime and in between time, I will talk to you guys soon. Alrighty. Cheers.